Welcome to our Middle East Briefing program. Today, we dive into the complex dynamics surrounding Israel's recent actions and statements, where high-profile figures face scrutiny for their incendiary remarks amid the ongoing Gaza conflict. Legal experts are raising alarms about the implications of these comments, as the International Court of Justice looks into allegations of genocide against Palestinians. Can Israel do enough to prevent incitement, or is the rhetoric just a reflection of political tensions? In another part of the world, the European Union is reconsidering its diplomatic ties with Syrian President Bashar Assad. With rising immigration concerns and pressure from far-right political parties, Italy's renewed engagement with Syria could signal a shift for other EU nations. However, experts warn that Syria remains unsafe for returnees, raising crucial questions about the balance between political expediency and humanitarian responsibility. Lastly, we turn our attention to China's electric vehicle market. As domestic competition heats up and trade barriers rise in developed nations, Chinese manufacturers are eyeing emerging markets like Brazil and Mexico for growth. But with challenges like inadequate infrastructure and high costs, will these markets prove to be the profitable ventures they hope for? Stay tuned for more detailed insights. BBC reports on the ongoing controversy surrounding alleged incitement to genocide by Israeli officials amid the conflict in Gaza. Notable figures, such as Knesset Deputy Speaker Nissim Bat-Yuri, have made inflammatory statements, including calls to erase the Gaza Strip from the face of the earth. These remarks have been cited in South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, which claims Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians. The ICJ has mandated that Israel must take action to prevent public incitement to genocide, yet many legal experts argue that Israel has not done enough to investigate these cases. The complexity of distinguishing between free speech and incitement to genocide further complicates the issue, especially when examining the rhetoric from both Israeli officials and Hamas leaders. Deutsche Welle highlights the shifting European Union (EU) stance towards Syria, particularly in light of Italy's decision to resume diplomatic relations with Bashar Assad's government. As immigration remains a contentious issue within Europe, some leaders are advocating for a policy shift that may include deporting asylum seekers back to Syria. Germany's Chancellor Olaf Scholz has suggested that convicted offenders from Syria should be deported, reflecting a growing willingness among EU nations to reconsider their approach to the Syrian crisis. Despite ongoing human rights violations in Syria, some EU states are seeking to normalize relations with Assad in hopes of preventing further refugee waves, though many experts warn that conditions in Syria remain unsafe for returnees. South China Morning Post discusses the challenges facing Chinese electric vehicle (EV) manufacturers as they seek to expand into emerging markets like Brazil and Mexico. With fierce domestic competition and rising trade barriers in developed economies, Chinese EV makers are increasingly looking abroad to sustain profitability. Despite electric vehicles accounting for over half of new sales in China, only a few companies are currently profitable due to intense price wars. The report indicates that exports to Southeast Asia and other emerging markets have surged, with Chinese brands capturing a significant market share. However, entering these new markets poses risks, including potential trade restrictions and underdeveloped infrastructure, which could impact the success of their expansion efforts. The Independent reports that Wales is facing potential venue changes for their Nations League match against Montenegro, scheduled for September 9. Concerns have emerged regarding the poor condition of the Podgorica National Stadium, with UEFA inspectors noting significant damage to the pitch, including large areas of missing grass. As a result, the match may be moved to Nixik City Stadium, which has never hosted a senior international match and may not meet UEFA standards. The Football Association of Wales has been advocating for a new pitch in Podgorica, but uncertainty looms over where the match will ultimately take place, causing logistical headaches for fans who have already made travel arrangements. Yahoo US highlights the mixed performance in the stock market, where the Dow Jones Industrial Average reached a record high, closing at 41,240.52, while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite struggled, primarily due to declines in technology stocks. Investors are on edge as they await Nvidia's earnings report, which is expected to significantly influence the tech sector's trajectory. Although the market has seen gains following signals from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell about potential interest rate cuts, concerns remain that disappointing earnings from key players like Nvidia could dampen the overall market sentiment, particularly in the booming AI sector. South China Morning Post outlines the agenda for upcoming talks between U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, which will cover a range of critical issues including Taiwan, the South China Sea, and AI security. This meeting, the first of its kind since 2016, aims to build on the previous discussions between Presidents Biden and Xi Jinping. The U.S. is particularly focused on addressing security concerns in the Indo-Pacific and China's support for Russia, while China plans to voice its concerns over U.S. adherence to the One China principle regarding Taiwan. The discussions come amid rising tensions in the South China Sea, where territorial disputes continue to escalate, highlighting the complex dynamics between the two nations. Yahoo US reports that former Representative Tulsi Gabbard has made headlines by endorsing Donald Trump for president, a significant shift from her previous strong criticisms of him. Just 5 years ago, during her 2020 presidential campaign, Gabbard labeled Trump as corrupt and unfit to serve, particularly condemning his ties with Saudi Arabia and his handling of foreign policy. She even went so far as to tweet directly at him, calling him Saudi Arabia's bitch. Her endorsement comes after she left the Democratic Party, claiming it was an elitist cabal of warmongers, and has increasingly aligned herself with right-wing media, including Fox News, where she has appeared as a contributor. In a separate report by The Independent, Donald Trump has shifted his campaign focus to foreign policy, warning that Ukraine's advances into Russian territory could lead to World War III. Speaking to the National Guard Association in Detroit, Trump criticized the Biden administration's handling of global conflicts and linked the chaos in Afghanistan to ongoing instability, suggesting that the withdrawal had emboldened adversaries like Russia. He claimed that his own presidency had not initiated any new major conflicts, contrasting it with the current administration's approach. Trump's remarks were supported by Gabbard, who joined him on stage to express her commitment to help him reclaim the presidency. Yahoo US also highlights a preview of Duke's upcoming football matchup against Elon, featuring insights from analysts Connor O'Neill and Jordan Mann. They discuss key players like quarterback Malik Murphy and offer predictions about the season opener, including potential impact transfers and bold predictions for the team. This segment showcases the excitement surrounding college football as teams gear up for their first games of the season, providing fans with a glimpse of what to expect from Duke's performance. Al Jazeera reports that the United Nations has been compelled to suspend its aid operations in Gaza following Israel's recent evacuation orders for Deir el-Balah, a region that had previously been deemed safe. A senior UN official expressed the dire situation, stating, "We're unable to deliver today with the conditions that we're in," highlighting the urgency and chaos faced by UN personnel who had to relocate hastily, leaving essential equipment behind. With the Israeli military expanding its ground offensive, the evacuation orders have forced many Palestinians from their homes, leaving them in uncertainty and despair. The UN's World Food Programme has reported severe disruptions in food distribution due to the ongoing conflict and limited access, resulting in reduced food parcel contents amidst catastrophic hunger. Sam Rose from UNRWA indicated that while they continue to provide essential services, they are increasingly confined to smaller areas of Gaza, with the humanitarian zone shrinking to just 11% of the territory. In Deir el-Balah, the atmosphere is one of panic and frustration, as over 1 million people struggle with the lack of safety and resources. Personal accounts from displaced individuals like Razem Al-Attab reveal the harrowing reality of their situation, as he lamented the loss of stability for his family, stating, "Nobody's taking care of us." The humanitarian crisis deepens as the UN's suspension of aid exacerbates the suffering of the Gazan population. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.